What is that blue line? I think those are chain stitches.
Look at that alpaca. That's adorable.
How do you know it's an alpaca?
Why would it not be an alpaca?
Why alpaca, not llama?
They have different snouts, I feel like.
I mean, you're right. It is an alpaca. I'm just trying to guess how you know that.
Because I'm amazing at animal identification. Why would you not know that? I feel like this is something that we should be talking about on the podcast.
We are. We're recording.
Okay.
Yeah, we are recording.
So I'm awesome at animal identification, and that's an alpaca.
Yeah.
But they might not have different snouts. I'm just good at guessing. That's the difference between crocodiles and alligators.
Is the shape of the snout.
Yeah, so V's. I mean, there's other differences, but
that's how it easily
when
tell.
When you spot one in the wild, and you're like, I wonder if that thing trying to eat me is a crocodile or an alligator. It's a crocodile if it's got a V. It's an alligator if it's a U.
So a round snout is an alligator.
Yes.
And a pointed snout is a crocodile.
Yes.
Can you see that if the snout is open and they're about to eat your face?
Well, yeah, because it's like the jaw. I think you'll be able to tell. I also think that if you are that close to an alligator or crocodile,
you have
and you're
bigger problems.
You might need to make other life choices. Oh, I'm so high on Sudafed. It's amazing.
So, high.
But it's high blood pressure Sudafed, so it's not actually Sudafed.
Oh my god, they make separate blood pressure medicine for that? That's nice.
Oh, and they put in, like, awesome, like, reading material. Like, hey, you're buying this high blood pressure stuff.
Do you need Depends?
You should be walking right now. You should be losing weight right now. I'm like, thanks, American Heart Association, for your concern.
Hey, fatty.
I just want some allergy medication. I appreciate it. It's 6:50 in the morning when I got 3 hours sleep because my dog thought that she saw a possum and had to protect me from it for the entire night.
By notifying you of its existence.
Hey lady, there's something outside. Oh man.
So I think this will be episode 363 where Laura sounds drunk the whole time.
It has been a long
man, I've got
week.
some serious cleavage going on today. I usually wear an undershirt under this, but
it's
I
a
didn't
sexy
today.
top for you.
It's like, I'm not trying to advertise or anything, but
I wore my shirt that I wore a couple weeks ago with the scoop neck.
Yeah.
That just said was my cleavage shirt with a camion underneath it. And my kids, I was like, I don't like this because on the side, it's from Old Navy, and it curves up as well. So I have to wear a cami anyway, because I'd be like, hey, Rolls. And my kids today were like, you look cute in that shirt, Miss Lynn. I'm like, okay. I don't like it, but okay. Amy Herzog in her class, because we'll talk about Craftsy later, but I was watching one of her classes, and she's like, I have gorgeous sweaters that I never wear because they don't fit with my lifestyle. Like, I have a certain aesthetic that I wear all the time, and other things don't, when they don't fit with your aesthetic. So, like, this is my aesthetic all the time. Like, I am a t-shirt, jeans, throw on a sweater over it. Comfort is key. Yeah, comfort is key for me. It's a miracle I'm still single. Anyway, so, so things like your pumpkin ale, which is an absolutely gorgeous sweater, probably wouldn't get a lot of use in my wardrobe.
If it was lighter, I'd wear it more, but it's just so heavy.
It also is amazing.
It's very
it's
fancy.
An amazing, fancy sweater.
And I really enjoyed knitting it, but it's just, it's
very fancy.
I learned a lot knitting it, so I really don't have any complaints. So, hi, and welcome to the Knit Girls.
Did you want 20 minutes of random chatter? You got it!
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Tatiana. Choices. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Tuesday...
The 5th.
September the 5th.
Tomorrow is Mama Lindeman's birthday on the 6th. Aww. Look, I tried to do 6 and I had things in my hands. I feel like this should be like a new gang sign of some kind.
The Knitter Gang.
The Knitter Gang.
So this is episode, did we say that already?
I have no idea what we've said. 363.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
said the date, because then I interjected.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're a little off balance this week. I've been on call, so I'm a little loopy from weird sleep hours, and Laura's loopy from high blood pressure Sudafed.
And, like, the week from hell.
Yeah.
But I feel like the stress of the week might have compromised my immune system, and now I'm sick. So I spent my weekend off being, like, because I'm off every weekend, but I had Monday off, too, because it was Labor Day here in the States.
Yep.
Yes. Go made up holidays. So, I mean, it's a legitimate holiday, but more so in the past than now. Now it's just, like, the end of summer celebration,
Yeah.
like Memorial Day, you know, is to memorialize people who have died fighting wars traditionally, and now it's just, like, yay summer day.
Yeah.
So I spent my whole Labor Day sick, but I got to watch lots of Craftsy because of that, so it all works out. But super fun. Anyway, I'm knitting. You're no, that's not cross stitch. That's embroidery.
Yay, good for you.
I'm learning things about crafts that I have no interest in.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, so I have 3 stitches left. I am working on my HD yarn socks because I did not want to cast on another pair of socks while I still had these on the needles. I felt like I was cheating on these socks. And I actually did get a good bit of progress, so I just cast on the toe. I might have had a couple stripes done. I might have had the toe done when last we spoke,
Yeah,
which was last Tuesday, I feel like. So we had on Thursday at my school, Hurricane Harvey came through, and we're not near the coast at all. We're up near Memphis, Tennessee, but it was like spawning little baby tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
So, which, I mean, if you live in Mississippi or the Midwest, I feel like tornadoes are kind of par for the course.
They are, and it's
to some degree.
You get used to them for the most part, unless it's a really bad storm.
Oh man, my first tornado at work, like, it was 2005, and I lost my mind because I was like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
And then, like, my coworkers lost their mind when we got snow that year,
Yeah.
so I felt verified. Like, we dismissed early for tornadoes that year, and we had to serve, so once kids are at school, they have to be fed food.
Yeah.
At some point. And so we were dismissing early for tornadoes, and so I got to work in the cafeteria because we had to feed all these kids before we sent them home at, like, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So, in order for the day to count or something, there was some reason. I mean, we would have fed them anyways,
right,
because our kids. I work at a school that does not have a lot of stuff. So we would have fed them anyways. But yeah, I got to work in the cafeteria for a day. But also, tornadoes are scary.
Yeah.
As all get out.
Especially when you live in the South and there's no basement.
Yeah, and the basement doesn't have the South doesn't have basements. There we go. Because of, like, water.
It's something to do with the water table and the silt level, and you can build a basement, but it's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
To build one.
And so people will put in shelters, but most people just go to, like, a middle central location, and we have plans at school. So anyway, Thursday, we had tornadoes coming through, so I was hanging out with 1,200 you need to be jealous of this, because this is amazing, 1,200 middle schoolers in hallways, that while they intend to be quiet, there's 1,200 of them in hallways on our bottom floor. Our school building's 2 floors. So even if and they're sitting on the floor with their knees, like, you know, that position. So it's super nice and comfortable for extended periods of time. And I'm standing, and I took my knitting with me because I've played this game before. And if there's going to be a tornado, I'm at least you're going to be able to identify my body because I'm going to have knitting attached to it in some way or another. Plus the kids like to watch me knit, so it's like a soothing thing, and that's my story, and I'm sticking
everything's
to
fine.
it.
Miss
Everything's
Linneman's
fine,
knitting.
yeah. She'd be on her phone like everyone else, obsessively checking the weather if there was an issue. So also you can always tell new teachers because they're like, oh my gosh, the kids are getting on their phones in the hall. I'm just happy they're quiet. Like, if they're getting on their phones during a tornado, I'm okay with that.
I think you can let that one go.
Anyway, so we were in the hallway for like 45 minutes to an hour on Thursday, which is super fun for everyone. So
you got some knitting done.
I got some knitting done.
That's where the story was going.
That's where it was started and going. So this is the first sock. That was done back in March. Which is kind of why I feel guilty about this. You know, if I was just to put this down, I probably wouldn't pick it up for another 6 months. And these are going to be Christmas presents for my sister because, oh boy, I made them long. Or maybe I should make them, maybe they should be Christmas presents for my brother-in-law.
I think he'd rock them.
I think he would too. But they're probably going to be for back. So this is HD yarns. The balls, I'm not certain they're dying anymore. They were on Etsy for a time. And they came in self-winding cakes. And I feel like I'm pulling from the inside. I feel like the outside might have faded over time. So hopefully I won't get into the super fadey bits. Or if I do, it'll speckle a little bit. But yeah, look at the difference between... Can you see the difference between those two colors?
Yeah.
It's pretty dramatic. This is what happens when you store yarn in the South in sunlight. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't think this was in sunlight, but apparently it was. It'll work out. And that's hanging out in my Fat Squirrel Fibers bag, my Christmas bag, because why would it not be? That's how old this project is.
Oh, that was the original bag?
Yeah. I'm not moving bags. Like, those seasons come back around. It'll be fine. Plus, it's like a subtle Christmas bag, I feel like. In my head, this is a subtle Christmas bag. I don't care. You can use a... No, I totally rocked this at school, so... I think it's subtle. I don't think it's in your face Christmas.
I don't think it is either, but honestly, I don't give a shit. It's your bag. I don't care if if it's a Christmas bag and you're using it at Valentine's Day.
Or in September.
Whatever.
Because we have the never-ending projects.
I don't care.
Well, thank you for that. I'm glad that you don't care.
I'm not the boss of you.
No one's the boss of me but my actual boss. And my parents. So this is my Luna Lovegood bag from Chicken Boots. It's got her spectroscopes and her tennis shoes and her radish earrings. And it overall makes me happy. And it's got like a pocket in the inside. And it is holding my even star. And what I do is I fold it down so that like the yarn cake is like right there because I'm pulling off the outside.
That makes sense. So it stays nice and neat.
And Pearl has not, like, she's run through it several times, but I'm always like, no! So, she hasn't broken it yet, knock on wood. So, we're there. I would spread it out, but then it would fall off my needles, and this would be a whole nother show. So, this is Even Star. Man, you can't see that at all. Sorry, folks.
This is going to be a fun 3 months.
Look, you can see my fingers. That's kind of fun. Yeah, it'll start blocking out, I feel like. I did not do the cast on that it calls for. I did an invisible cast on. So it calls for the Emily Ochre. And I
love that cast on.
Really? It's the one that I did is similar, where it's like you're going through a loop, but it's a little bit different, and it's called the Invisible Cast On. And really, I just did it because someone linked it in their notes and said, this is an amazing cast on that does a better job. So I was like, sign me up.
Once you're done with the cast on, can you pull the tail and make it tight? That's my favorite part about the Ochre cast on.
Yeah, see? I feel like it's pretty tight.
Yeah. Well, as long as it lets you adjust it.
Yeah, I feel like it does. I might have done it wrong. I don't know. You don't have to use a crochet hook for this one. Don't you have to use like a crochet hook for the other one?
I don't think so, because Tin Can Knits used it for the Vivid blanket. Mm-hmm. And
did you use a crochet hook?
Maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember. I used it for something. Oh, the middle of my shawl that I did for Dream in Color. It starts in the inside.
Curiouser and Curiouser.
Curiouser and Curiouser uses that cast on. There's this cool leaf motif. Check that out.
Yeah. Looks like a hat right now.
It does.
Like a lacy beret.
It has all these Gel Bee stitch markers on it. One every 20 stitches. They're fun to adjust.
Yeah.
And then a little owl. I have no idea where this owl came from, but it is adorable. There we go. And then that's not a flock lock. This is from Jelby.
Stitch Saver or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's Jack, the Pumpkin King. The Pumpkin King.
Speaking of, Desert Vista has this monthly...
Shut up, it's such a horror movie.
Desert Vista has this monthly, like, contest entry thread where you can recommend up to 3 entries.
Okay.
And this month, you can't repeat one that somebody's already put in the thread.
This is true.
And
so I caught it, like, what, on the 2nd or 3rd? And Leslie's weren't showing, so I texted her to let her know that they weren't showing because I'm a good friend who wants her to get credit for things.
We both enter. We usually enter every month.
Unless it's a month that I don't care about. Like, documentary month, No, it was a documentary month.
I did documentary month.
There's one that I didn't care for. Like, I don't know.
But anyway, so I go to fix mine, which, by the way, mine were... it was a horror. That was
so the genre is horror.
You
it's
suggest
movies.
a movie, and you copy the poster image for that movie, like the release poster, and you put
it... Or the DVD cover or whatever,
and you put it in the thread, and that's your entry. Mine was The Descent, which is going into caves and stuff.
I am shocked that you did not do Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That's more of a comedy than a horror, though. I mean, it is kind of terrifying, but...
I think it's pretty terrifying. I don't think anyone's picked it yet. Someone should take this and totally pick that if no one has. Are you checking mine because you can't remember who they are?
No, I'm checking mine because I can't remember what I did.
It was like a Screaming Skull one was one of them. That's the only image that would show for me.
Let's see. The Descent, which is about them going into caves. That's the skull one. Oh, the other ones aren't showing.
I told you they weren't, and you told me that they were.
They were for me.
Well, they're
I'll
not.
have to fix that. Event Horizon, which I've watched several times and it still scares the crap out of me, which is a space movie. And then The Hills Have Eyes, which I've never actually seen the end of because it horrified me that much that I had to stop. But anyway... Laura's 3.
Look, these are scary movies, yo. That's not me, but that's a scary movie too.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, Beetlejuice, and Ghostbusters.
These are all... So, when you talk about elements of horror, ghosts totally come into elements of horror, and all 3 of mine have ghosts. All 3.
I'm just saying.
There's a theme.
I'm not sure if something that's rated PG can be considered horror.
It totally can.
But anyhow.
I was actually going to choose the original Ghostbusters, but I like the ladies. They're pretty sassy. So
how is your Even Star going? Are you enjoying it?
I have not hit a place where I would say that... So... If you've been watching the show for a while, you know that my standard knitting is self-striping socks. I can do fancy things, but like your wedding shawl is pretty fancy. I might do one fancy thing that actually requires like...
Paying attention to charts.
Yeah, paying attention to work. And a lot of times, well, I just did one with the vest, so I felt like that cleared out my fancy work for the peanut vest for the year. I did the goat herder hat last year too, so I don't do a lot of intricate stuff. I have the ability, and I have the ability to fix it when I know I've messed it up, which is like 9 times out of 10. I can fix stuff, which is great, like dropping cables or lace and repicking back up. And sorry, there was a noise going on. So I wouldn't say for me that it's a super enjoyable knit. It's not a difficult knit in that every other row is a rest row. So it gives you, like, your shawl, I think every row is a lace row. And the bounce blanket, look, I've done so many intricate things this year. The bounce blanket, every row is a lace row, which is not my favorite. So I do appreciate the rest rows. And actually, because the rows are taking me around 20 minutes each for the lace, that like 15-minute rest row of just like knitting all the way around is really nice.
I love that the rows are taking you 15 minutes right now.
Shut up.
In a month, you're going to be like...
I'm 9% in.
I
So
wish.
also, like, I'm like stressing myself out because my goal is 1% per weekday because I don't want to get crazy pants. That's already like 2 hours. So 1% per weekday. Actually, like, that's an hour. And then 2% on the weekends, each weekend day. So that totals 5 plus 5, 10. Really, I should be more like 13%, so maybe 3% each weekend day. So I really need to get around 13% done a week. So 13 times 4 would be...
She does this all the time.
So, no, other people figured this out. This is not just my crazy. Like, other people did this. Because it's an owl, which is a made-up points thing for Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup.
Which is a made-up points thing.
It's, like, you have to get it done within 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's, like, people hit certain... I'll be fine if I do, like, a little over 1... If I do 1% per day and then the 2% on the weekend days, I think I'll be fine. The edging, just so you know, is 27% of the total shawl.
I would have thought more.
So,
It is almost a third, though.
yeah, so that's almost a third. And that's beaded.
Yeah.
So I want to get to that before, like, midway through. I'd like to hit that point, so like the 70% point at least by midway through next month. Really, it's stressing me out, which is ridiculous because it's knitting and it's not supposed to stress you out. And I probably should have proposed it as a newt, which is like a 4-month thing, not a 3-month thing, and that would have given me a little bit more time because work right now is pretty crazy anyways, and this is something that you I have to, so we all have our knitting things. I have to sit and I can't do anything else while I'm doing the lace, but during the rest rows I can like hit play.
Yeah.
So what I did on Saturday and Sunday is I watched Amy Beth the Fat Squirrel on the rest rows. So like a 1-hour podcast took me 2 days to watch, but I made it to, I think, 7%, 8% by the end of yesterday. So, yeah, I couldn't start it Saturday. That's what it was. So, I had an owl, and you have to submit it for approval. I submitted it Friday afternoon because I had to swatch for it. And I forgot my swatch, otherwise I would show you bead options. But I'm going to bring that next week, and we can talk beads then. Because
you got plenty of time before you get there.
Yeah, I've got 70% before I get there. So, like, I had to swatch, so I got that done, and I got it in around 5, 6 o'clock on a Friday. I think it was still light out. And so I got that submitted and blocked, and, it took them, like, 2 days to... It was Sunday afternoon before my proposal got accepted, so I couldn't even start till Sunday afternoon, which was stressing me out.
Just a little bit.
Because in my head, you know, I was supposed to be at 900 stitches a day, basically, and so then I would have to make those stitches up, so whatever. It's imaginary. I'm enjoying working with my hand spun, though, and the signatures are nice. I started, actually, the whole project on wooden DPN, so it wouldn't, like, slide around.
That's good.
And then I moved to 16-inch Addies, and then I moved to, because that's what I had in 16-inch. Size 3s is what I'm using, and then I moved to the signatures because I have 20-inch signatures. And probably after this chart, so I'm on chart 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on row 6 of chart 2. After this, I will, after this chart, then I'll move up to my next size signature, cord length-wise.
Yeah.
Did you know highlighter tape will fade over time? I went to pull out my highlighter tape and it's all, like, junky.
Oh, well, I guess I've seen it on paper that it's faded over time, but not on the roll.
It faded on my roll, so now I have a weight. And it was in a bag. It wasn't, like, out. So, like, the color, like, it looks like marbled paper now.
Oh.
so it's not useful. So I'm using the super sticky Post-it note system, which is guaranteed to fail at some point. And I put the Post-it note above, which also causes me to fail. Leslie's on call.
Super awesome. Fun times.
I have no finished objects, and I'm done with my in progress. Do you need to take that and we can stop and then pick it back up?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll be back in a minute.
We'll be back in a second. I mean, it's definitely got its issues, but I don't think it's too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. I love the way hand spun looks, especially from fleece.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I do.
Like, this drives me a little bit crazy.
You won't see it once it's in the sweater.
No.
Okay, we're recording.
Oh.
Pay attention, Laura.
It's your turn to talk. Anyway, I want to finish the Even Star for Ross Farms Retreat because I'm teaching a class there on applied lace edgings, and I'm also teaching a class on beading, so I think it'd be fun to take with. I'm not saying that I'll be done. I might be beading on the plane, but I'd like to take it with me.
I think as long as you're at that point.
At the edging point?
Yeah, then you're fine.
I think I'm fine at that point. But, yeah, I was just playing with hand spun. I was showing Leslie my hand spun that I spun, which you will get to see in a little bit after she finally shows you her works in progress. Because, oh my gosh. Are you as impatient as me to see them? No, you shouldn't be. Your alpacas?
So, I'm working on two things, although I'm not working on knitting a lot. If moderately gross stuff grosses you out, skip ahead about 30 seconds. I've got this like dry spot on the inside of my finger that's really raw, and it's like the skin has split, and it's right where I tension my yarn. So it's definitely an abrasion issue. Oh,
I forgot to bring you. I have that hand in a glove stuff, like glove in a bottle. That's what it's called. That I should bring
I've seen
you.
that, but I've never used it. And I've been, you know, applying lotion and keeping it open to the air so it can heal as much as possible, but it's actually prevented me from doing a ton of knitting, just because I keep trying to retrain myself to tension it a different way, and I always end up with the tension over that same finger. So I'm just not knitting as much this week.
I don't tension over a finger. I guess I kind of do. Yeah,
I mean, it goes under here too.
Yeah, well, it goes under my pink. It loops around my pinky.
So you do tension around a finger.
I get, but not like
not at the point of the needle. But
yeah, not at this point.
Well, I do.
I close my pinky.
So
I feel like you need to see me closing my pinky multiple times.
I did make some decent progress on my sweater, not as much as I would have liked, of course, but so I'm knitting the So Faded sweater, but I'm doing it striped instead of faded. The sweater pattern is by Andrea Mowry. I'm modifying a little bit only.
You're just using the numbers.
I'm just using different numbers for the chest than I am for the arms. That's really all the modification that I'm doing, and I'm doing stripes instead of speckles. That's it. So
instead of a fade.
Yeah.
Stripes instead of a fade.
So this was where I was last week, and I've made about 6 inches, 5-6 inches.
That's good progress.
Since last week. My stripes, there is a line no matter what I do. It makes me crazy.
It's gonna be in your underarm.
So I moved it, to be under my arm, so that it's in a more natural place.
It'll look like a hem, anyways. Do you not think so?
I don't know. I think that once I block it, some of that will improve, but I don't know for sure. We'll see.
I don't think it's going to improve, but I think it's just. I mean, stripes
You're
in
just
the red.
a ray of fucking sunshine, aren't you?
I feel like this explicit should be the title of this episode. No, I feel like it's not going to block out because you're just a half row off, but that's inherent. Like when you work in a circular thing, your stripes are not going to line up.
I feel like they do on some rows better than on others.
What are you doing to try to make them line up?
I'm knitting the first round of a new change of a new color just like normal, and then I'm slipping the first stitch on the second row.
So you're doing like the traditional jogless jog.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's too late anyway to change because I'm halfway through the sweater.
You could have, like, what you could have done, this would have been, like, a crazy design feature, but you could have moved it by one stitch, like, where you changed the row.
Yeah, and
it would have made, like, this cool vertical line that went across the horizontal lines.
And I could, when I'm done, like, take some extra yarn and create a fake seam up the side that would hide it.
Yeah, you could. You could just crochet up the...
Yeah.
Crochet a chain there.
And I might, just depending on how much it bugs me.
I would do it on both sides if you're going
to do
it on
yeah,
line.
I would. And I might even add a little accent of it on the sleeve, like, down the raglan
line? Yeah.
I don't know.
Line? Huh.
We'll see. But, yeah, I mean, I made some decent progress. I've still got quite a bit to go, but it's down under the boobs.
It's exciting.
So there's that. That's pretty much the only knitting that I've worked on this week. And then I started embroidering because
Which is not cross-stitch.
It is not cross-stitch, no. I started embroidering because I don't have to tension that at all. And I'm only handling the needle, and it's not abrading against my skin or anything. So, here, let me take this off so I can show you. I've got a pattern from Hawthorne Handmade. They have an Etsy shop.
It's an alpaca.
It's an alpaca.
Not a llama.
So this is what it looks like. It's just a silly alpaca with different stitch features. All of the, his neck, where he's all furry, is French knots. So that'll be fun. I don't mind French knots because I saw a video on a really great way to do it. Man, I'm booberific today. I gotta let down. So, of course, now I realize I spent all day training Alan, and
he didn't mention
apparently with my boobs hanging out, but he's too tactful to mention it.
Alan is Leslie's husband's best friend, and they all work in the same company.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I like to use these, I think they're Darice, D-A-R-I-C-E, for embroidery or cross stitch because it's much easier. I feel like it's easier to get it on than your traditional screw hoops. They come in different sizes. I got mine on Amazon for like $4.
There you go. Do they come in different colors too?
They do. But
are different sizes different colors?
But you don't get to like pick. I mean, like this size is always pink, and the bigger one is always blue.
It's like signature needles. Yeah.
So this is where I am right now on my little alpaca. I'm not very far in, but I did stitch a little while I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
You watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2 without me?
I did. I'd watch it again, though.
I will, too. I watched it first without you.
Yeah, I know.
I love Baby Groot. He makes it, that dance sequence at the beginning just makes me super happy.
Trash Panda.
Trash Panda also makes me super happy.
Yeah, it is a space movie, but it's a silly one, and
it's a sequel, so you have to. It's based off of a Marvel comic, I believe.
Marvel or DC? Yeah, it's Marvel.
It's Marvel, so it's based off of a comic.
Yeah, because Stan Lee's got
a cameo. Yeah. I love it when he's got cameos.
He's got a cameo in all the Marvel movies.
He was at Dragon Con this past weekend. Speaking of which, Gail's art was there, and we should go to Dragon Con one year.
Dragon Con?
Yeah, it's in Atlanta.
Huh.
It's one of the big cons. Firefly people were there too.
At a Dragon Con?
Yeah, it's like Comic-Con, but it's for the Atlanta region. It's pretty big.
Oh, okay.
Like Stan Lee was there.
It's just a nickname for a Comic-Con.
Well, that's the name of it. Comic-Con is like an official name, like copyrighted name, and it takes place in California. Dragon Con.
But it's essentially just a geek con of different
it's like how
culture.
We have SSK.
Yeah, okay.
And the zombies have their Knitpocalypse. Yeah. They're very similar events, but they just have different names. They're both knitting retreat events.
Cool.
And the one in Atlanta is called Dragon Con, and I am going to show you a video that Gail's art put on her Instagram later.
Cool.
Of men without shirts.
I am fully behind
this. All enjoy this together. If you don't follow Gail's art on Instagram, you are missing out. because she does beautiful fiber and yarn.
Yes.
And sock blanks.
But also because there are half-naked men there, apparently.
There are half-naked men at Dragon Con. And Stan Lee.
Yeah.
I guess there's a parade at Dragon Con.
Well, yeah, everybody's got to have a chance to show off their costumes.
Yeah, we need to go to Dragon Con. I just want to go watch people and
Yeah.
listen to people on panels. I think it'll be fun.
I wonder if Jinx was there.
I don't think so. It's on the bucket list. Of, like, I want to go to, like, a big con someday just to people watching it. What kinds of... I would knit on stripy socks, but what kind of stripy socks would I knit on? There's
something with a pop culture reference.
You would have to. I don't know how you could not. Like, it would have to be... And it would have to be, like, some, like, Firefly, like...
Yeah.
Captain
Tight Pants.
Yeah, like Captain Tight Pants fiber or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to. I don't know how you could not. But anyway, we were talking about something before Dragon Con. Your alpaca.
I'm not sure how we got to Dragon Con.
I'm not certain how we got to Dragon Con either. I have an excuse. You do not.
Anyway. That's all the knitting I have. I have no finished objects and neither does Laura.
Nope.
But we have both been processing wool, so I have been processing this CVM Cordell Merino cross that we got at Dixon, and most of it's been really nice, but the bottom 2 pounds were like 25% VM, like hay
Vegetable
and stuff,
matter, yeah.
and then another 25% excrement. And I was like, don't need it that bad, so it went into the trash.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have like 3 or 4 pounds of clean fiber.
Yeah.
But
and we only spent $50 on it.
So we got a pretty good deal.
So I felt like, as a whole, that's a pretty good deal.
To sort of cleanse myself from the like poo overload of that last 2 pounds, I took out 8 ounces of Fox Hill Farms Cormo.
Mm-hmm.
Fox Hill Farm is it's Alice and Sue, I think, are the 2 ladies who run the farm, and they take great care of their sheep, and
they coat them.
Yeah, they coat them, and their fleeces are always in spectacular condition. You know, there's going to be a little dirt on them, but that's pretty much it. Like, they take fantastic care of them, but you can only get their stuff at shows, really, because they don't have a website or any sort of online shop.
Can you call them before?
You can call them for fleeces. I don't know if you can call them for smaller things like skeins of yarn. Probably. But most people are more likely to buy from an online shop. I wish that they did, but I understand where they're coming from.
They go to Rhinebeck, and they don't go to Maryland. I wish they would go to Maryland, because at least we would see them at Maryland.
Yeah, I've got...
Are they from New York? Where are they from?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So,
where in Pennsylvania, I wonder?
It's got a funny name, because I looked it up the other night.
Is it Intercourse?
It's not Intercourse.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But anyway, so I washed about 8 ounces of it, and it was like a balm to my soul. It was so much nicer to work with.
I found that if I do an uncoated fleece, my next fleece should be coated.
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 uncoateds back to back, and I wish I don't think I have. No, I have 1 coated left. I still have 4 fleeces to wash.
You've got half a fleece here because we split one of the Fox Hill Farm ones last year, and I've still got it all here.
I also gave you one of my CVMs to wash for me.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is it still in my trunk?
I don't know what you did.
When did you give it to me?
When did I purchase it? Last spring. This
God.
past spring.
I might have washed it.
It was in a box. I don't care if I gave it to you because you're like, I have no fleeces to wash, and I was like, here you go.
I'll have to find it. It's probably been washed because
it's from, what is her name? She does Romney and she does CVM, and they're always...
Oh, that place online, something Pepper or whatever?
Pepper Hollow Farm?
Hollow.
Peeper Hollow Farm. Yeah, she does a good job, and you can buy roving from her online, too. Because I have 2 pounds of different colored CVM roving. Of course I do. Why would I not? But actually, I would like... So, when we reviewed the Mason-Dixon book, not this past one, so not the Log Cabin.
The Nashville one?
No. The Nashville thing's We haven't reviewed that. That wasn't making. That was something else.
Oh.
They do... There's one that just does, like, different city guides. Someone's yelling it at the screen right now. Because we have the Portland one, we have the Nashville one, and we have the...
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think the Mason-Dixon girls do, like, technique-based
That's
books.
a field guide, yeah.
The field guides. So the, like, variegated color one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it's called, though. But anyway, there was a sweater in there, and it was a solid body, and then variegates for the arms.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I want to spin for that, and I have, like, a pound of solid.
Really?
Cormo.
You have a pound?
Or not Cormo, CVM. A pound of solid CVM. I actually have 2 pounds, but they're in different colors, so that's not helpful to me. Unless I was going to stripe the body. So I'd like to do the body and that solid, and then I have 3 braids of Into the World Romney in the Inconceivable... No. Akeem Powder colorway.
Oh, yeah.
Chris and James made me cry, by the way. Because did I tell you this?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought 2 braids off of a D-stash, and I had done ISO. And Friday was rough for me, y'all. One of my friends died. And I came home, and Chris and James sent me, like, a braid, and they sent, like, a card, and it was just, like, just because.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a complete and total meltdown. Because the fiber community is the sweetest. It's always been the sweetest. And there's no way they would have... I mean, they shipped it days prior, obviously. And...
Just kismet.
Yeah, it was such a... Like, her death was such a shock that... Because no one was expecting it. It was just perfect. Perfect timing. I told them that. Anyway, so I'd like to use the sleeves. Because I have... What is that? 12 ounces of the variegate. And it's really pretty, and it's Romney. And I could do CVM for... Because I don't mind things that are a little bit rougher on my sleeves. The Romneys aren't rough, though. But anyway, now I'm just blathering. We're talking about fleeces. So you're doing a Cormo that is delicious.
And it's from the sheep whose name is Viola.
That's a great name
and
for a
it's
sheep.
Like Snow White.
If you were going to name a sheep, what would you name it? We can come back to this. I'm putting you on the spot.
Fuzzy Wuzzy. I don't know. But Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
And he had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't Fuzzy, was he?
Was he?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
anyway.
Where were we? And you've been washing
I've
fleece.
been washing, so I'd washed, talking, hello. I had washed a Shetland from Ross Farms, and actually, so I've been showing you guys, I had 3 bobbins spun, and, my bobbins hold on the Lendrum around 3.5 ounces, and I'm working on the 4th bobbin. My goal is to spin 9, so that I'll end up with a total of, a little over 30 ounces spun. So this is still wet, because I ran it through this sweater spin dryer thing, and it spun out all the water, but it hung today and did not get very dry. Ooh, it's not bad. It's got some crinkliness, but it's got some twist to it, but it's not like, well, it's also wet still. What am I talking about? Anyway.
I feel like that's more than 400 yards.
It is. It's 440 yards.
I still feel like it's more than that.
But. So I've been washing Shetland, and I had finished washing it, like a month ago? Like right before SSK, yeah. I feel like. And then after we got home from SSK, I was like, I'm going to card this because I am going to spin it, and it is going to be a sweater, and it is going to be gorgeous. And it is gorgeous. So I started carding on my carder, which is a Stroke Petite, and it only does 1 ounce bats. And that would have made me make at least probably 30 bats. And that is crazy pants. So Leslie brought over her electric carder.
It's a fancy kitty.
It's a fancy kitty.
Yeah. Fancy. It's a kitten model.
Yes. And so it does 2 ounce bats, which is nice. That's double the production. So what I'm doing is I have a flicker, so I'm opening the Shetland, and then I run it through once, and then I pull it off and I strip it down and like spread it out just like this. This is how I spread with my hands, and then like it's fireworks. And then I run it through a second time, and then I spin it. And I'm spinning it on my Lindrum upright. So this is the first 10 ounces. I still have a little bit left on the bobbins to apply. I applied it on the mini spinner.
Because the mini has bigger bobbins.
Yeah, because the mini has 8-ounce bobbins, but actually I used my mini with my woolly winder, so I managed to fit 10 ounces on there. And the only reason why I stopped is the arm stopped moving. I was like, oh crap.
Because they were bumping.
Because, no, it was so full that it just, because it's the woolly winder, it's full all the way, it just stopped. So, the first 10 ounces of this is done. It's 440 yards of a 3-ply. I'm thinking when it dries, it's going to be pretty much worsted. So for me to do a sweater, I need like 1,300 yards. So
I think it's going to be closer to an Aran.
I don't know. You know what would have been helpful? Sampling. Sampling's like the swatching of spinning.
It is.
And I don't like it.
And we hate it just as much as we hate swatching.
It's so true.
Well, I do. It's not like a general statement for the community or anything.
I think it is. Not Jillian, though. Jillian Marino loves it. Like, she will swatch all day long. So I still have on the bobbins like an ounce. Maybe an ounce and a half to apply. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that and wash that, and then I'm going to knit a sample, a swatch, some might call it. Acreworks is having like a show pictures of your swatches contest. So I'll have 2 entered for this month because I'm fancy. So I'll swatch it and then kind of go from there. I'm letting the yarn dictate the sweater choice. Right now it's pretty dense. I mean, it's 10 ounces and 440 yards. It seems really dense, and it's also still wet. I mean, I don't think it's dense. I don't know. This is like a weaving thing where you do like the ends per pound.
EPI, ends per inch.
Okay, what is it per? Is it yards per pound?
Yards per pound.
Yeah. So YPP? Mm-hmm. That's an acronym. Anyway, so that's the first thing. That's not the first thing, but that's like the fleece. And then I'm also washing a Coopworth that we got at Maryland in 2015. I know that because Leslie labeled the outside of the bag for me. And we split it. And it is so freaking dirty. Like, it doesn't help that it's been sitting in its own since 2015 in a trash bag, but it's taking like 2 full washes and like 5 rinses to get cleaned. And the tip still, and it's interestingly colored, so we'll see how that comes out. Eventually Leslie is going to want her drum curder back, so
I don't need it now, but
yeah, eventually. Well, it's in my house is such a disaster right now. It's on a plastic table in my living room, so I have like a little sweatshop set up.
Yeah, but you're using it.
I am.
It's
I'm
not like a hoarder situation.
Well, it's not, but Pearl like scoots up underneath the table and puts her head in my crotch, and I'm like, oh, because that's how she can fit in, because my dog's pretty tall.
Yeah, she's what, 55 pounds?
She's 60 now.
Oh.
We don't walk as much now. Her getting heartworms when she couldn't exercise didn't help. But anyway, so that's the first bit of spinning that I wanted to show you. And then the second bit of spinning, and then there's a spinning to be. Look at how terrible this bobbin, y'all.
Oh, that looks
when
cool,
you
though.
forget to switch a hook, you get like a bump out.
Yeah.
This is
that space opera thing?
Spaced Out. So, can you see? Can you see the glitter? You can. Look at that. It's got rainbow glitter. I'm just gonna let it glitter for you.
It is pretty epic.
This is Spaced Out. It's from Hip Strings. It was $12 whole
for what?
4 ounces.
Oh, okay.
I want to buy like a sweater's quantity, but it's not very soft.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It is 20% BFL. 20% Shetland, 20% Finn, 20% silk. I would never have guessed that. I don't feel silk in here at all. And then 20% nylon. That is a crazy high nylon content. You know what that nylon is? Ooh, all that glitter. That's what that nylon is. It's like, I don't even know. It's just glitter of happiness. And it's on an Acreworks bobbin. And I refuse to change the hook. So it's got massive bump outs from when and I was spinning it pretty thick. I started spinning this at SSK.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like DK weight for sure. It'll be worsted when it's applied.
So are you going to apply it against itself? Like another braid of that?
I've got another bun. I mean, because I got home and I was like, oh, I need more. So I need 8 ounces of this, because why would you not?
I think that would be fun applied against a crazy multicolor.
It would, but it's getting applied against itself. And then because it's $12 whole, I can buy another braid.
This is true.
Look, y'all, it glitters. It's making me so ridiculously happy.
It is pretty cool.
It's not the softest fiber in the world. Or even in the top 10, I would say. That nylon.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want, I would love a sweater. Look, more sparkle. I would love a sweater's quantity of this, but...
Not unless it was softer.
It's not to be. It's just too much nylon.
Yeah.
But it makes me super happy.
That's the price you pay for that much glitter.
Oh, yeah. And so she's got some really interesting... She's got, like, linen blends, and she just does really fun, funky blends. And that's hipstrings.com. She's a Pittsburgh person. We love Pittsburgh people. I love Pittsburgh people.
I bought the pony collection from
Leslie's
her at SSK.
apathetic. Yeah, she's got a whole pony collection.
I don't even know what the fiber is, because I didn't care, because I was like, it's a pony collection. That's really all I need to know.
It's a lot of merino silk, and it's amazing. Do you have it up here?
No.
Oh, that makes me sad. I'm going to make Leslie bring her. Is it the pony collection or the unicorn collection?
Unicorn collection.
It's a unicorn collection. I have Russian unicorn. And then I bought a braid of one of the other unicorns so I can make the nieces, like, something out of it. Although they're getting so big, I should have bought 2 braids. Anyway, if you go to hipstrings.com, you can see all her fibers, and some of them are really super cool. And then she's got a Pittsburgh collection if you're a Pittsburgh person like me, and it will make you happy. And I got some of that, and I spent too much money on fiber at Hipstrings. Whatever. It's not like it doesn't get spun. And then, Knitting Color was doing a fundraiser for Hurricane Harvey victims, and she had a sale, and then in addition to that, she was donating a certain percentage to, is it Red Cross? I did a lot of different hurricane
fundraiser.
Like, if you're gonna tell me you're donating to a hurricane fundraiser, I'm probably gonna buy something from you. So this is Knitting Color, and this is the super fun colorway. Sorry for all the crinklies. And it's superwash merino wool, and this is gonna be this month's Patreon. So I think I'm going to. What do you think? 3-ply? What should I do?
I think you should do a woolen spun.
I could do
the one that
folds.
you did the crazy hat that was super light. That was like it was a chain ply, and then you did something else weird to it.
Oh,
it was part of your owl.
No, I can't do that with this, but that's a good plan. You were talking about the that was all. I can't do that with this. This is too much. It was core spun and then chain plied. Yeah. But core spinning, you can do it with top, but it works. So I would have to run this through the drum carder, and I think it would lose those distinctive lines.
I think you should do that at some point in the future.
Okay.
For a Patreon.
Okay.
I think
I was totally going to write an article about that for Ply, and I missed the deadline because it was Friday, and Thursday and Friday were hell for me. So, oh well. That's what you get when you wait till the last minute. You don't get stuff done. But there will be other articles. That I will avoid doing as well. Someday I'm going to write an article, y'all. Someday. I feel like I need accountability on that. So this is super fun, and it'll be the Patreon. I'm thinking like a 3-ply worsted. I think I want to spin it a little bit chunkier because I think it would be a fun hat.
Yeah.
But also it's like a speckled dyed, and I feel like you lose some of that if you... Probably not a 3-ply, probably a 2-ply, because if you 3-ply it, it's going to tone it down a lot. It's going to like blend it out and muddy it out. A 2-ply won't do that, and in the thicker, if it's a thicker ply, it won't do that either. Like, it'll keep more distinct. I don't want to do a single because it's super wash, and it won't hold up well.
I defer to your judgment.
You know how to spin.
I think 2-ply would be very pretty.
Spin.
I'm not saying I don't know how. I'm just, you are far more versed in it than I am.
I don't know about that.
Shut up and take a compliment.
Man, I need to get better about that. Anyway, thank you. Superwash Merino. Super fun! By Nadine Color. That's going to be the Patreon prize for this coming month when we draw. Probably next week. Yep. Because we haven't gotten the report yet. So that is it for me for spinning. I feel like that's a good bit.
It is a good bit.
Whoa, your computer's putting off a lot of heat. I should leave this down here. Maybe
so
it'll dry.
I mean, it might catch on fire too, but
it'll self-extinguish. I'm a little bit worried about like what's in my bag that might catch on fire, but meh, it's a top bin. Yeah, it probably self-extinguishes too. Anyway.
As far as reading, so I have read several books in the past couple of weeks. One of them was Single Malt, which was a male-male romance, sort of in the same vein as the Abigail Rue Cut and Run series. So if you liked that series, it's men in like positions of authority, like police officers, FBI, that sort of thing.
So like civil servants?
Yes. Who end up romantically involved. These two are FBI, I think. I can't remember now. It was okay. And then I read Black Magic, which is by Megan Durr. And it was a purchased one, and I probably wouldn't purchase it again. But it's by the lady who did the King's Golden Tongue that makes Laura giggle every time.
So funny. It's the best name for a book. If I had a sheep, it would be called King's Golden Tongue.
That's kind of a mouthful.
I think we would call him KGT for short.
Goldie.
No. KGT. It's a very, like, hip-hop name.
If you say so, honey. So right now I'm reading an Uncharted Realms book, which is fantasy, like magic and all that, and it's called The Shift of the Tide.
Did we look up to see when you were reading a book that we had read before, and finally
The Winter King.
When's the new one come out?
I think
it's supposed to come out like 2 years ago.
C.L. Wilson is the author, and I think it's the 26th of this month. Let's see, Amazon.
Are you buying it, or am I buying it?
I think I already have.
Okay, I don't think I have.
I think I've pre-ordered it. Let's see.
That's her.
Yeah.
The Sea King.
The Crown of Crystal Flames, maybe?
No, it's the Sea King.
Oh, that's right, because it was the pirate.
You just said it's the Sea King.
October 31st.
That's not soon.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I've already pre-ordered it.
Okay.
I pre-ordered it in September of 2015.
Well, like, originally it was supposed to come out, like, 2014, the summer.
Yeah.
When was the first one published? When did you buy the first one?
It must have been September. I purchased this on September 18th and the next book on the 19th, so I must have read it really quickly.
But when was it originally published? Go down.
Oh,
because I think I read it before you.
July 2014.
Yeah, so I've been waiting since July of 2014, and it was supposed to come out in, like, 2015. Yeah. The summer of, like, the next summer, and for some reason they delayed it by, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
And people like that drive me crazy.
I'm hoping that... I'm interested to read it or listen to it. I might do both. I don't know. It just depends on how good it is. And then the
first one was pretty good. The Winter King was good.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we've waited 3 years for this next book to come out, and we haven't forgotten about it
Although
yet.
I did listen to it this time.
Uh-huh.
And instead of reading it, and I spent like, I don't know, $7 or something, because it was
added to your Kindle.
And
I'm sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
I know, I can tell.
I'm not yet.
And I had forgotten how much sex there is in that book. Holy crap, there's a lot.
Well, you weren't listening to it with Kobe.
No. He doesn't listen to all the books that I listen to. He's really only interested in science fiction. He's not really...
What's Kobe reading right now?
He is listening to the ones that I just finished, the Reskin books, the... The King's Dark Tiding, which I finished a couple months ago.
Has he been to the library yet at the high school?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't asked him.
I'm going to ask him before I leave.
You should.
That's like my favorite librarian in this county. So his librarian is the only male librarian in the county.
Oh.
And so it is your band director, the band director you had's brother.
Jolly?
Yes. I think.
I hope
maybe
he's
not.
nicer than Jolly.
No, he's not. He's not a Jolly. He's Baird. He's a Baird.
Oh, yeah, I like the Bairds.
I like the Bairds a lot. So, but like that dry, sarcastic humor that Jay had, he's got that same like dry, and it's very funny because he's stuck with all us women. Like, so we're in a county system, and there's like 40 schools and 39 women, majority of which are elementary schools. And then he's the one lone male high school librarian. And he's super sarcastic. It makes me laugh.
That's good.
And he's stuck with us. Also makes me laugh. Anyway, I like his librarian. That's what I'm getting down to.
So I listened to The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which I had read before.
I could not get into that.
It was good in audio format as well. And then right now I'm listening to... I went to look for something similar to... Peter Klein's, who wrote 14, and what was the other one? The Fold. Both really good books. And he's written a bunch of other, the Junkie Quatrain and the X series, which was good. But he's got a new book coming out later this month called Paradox Bound, which of course I pre-ordered. But I wanted something sort of in that vein that was kind of science fiction-y, but not too out there. So I'm listening to one called Earth Core by... Scott something, and it's pretty good. Like, it's...
Oh, I have a book that you should read.
I think it's like 20 hours long, and I started it on Sunday, and I've got 4 hours left. Like, it's really good.
What is the name of that book? Anyway, I'll think of it. I have a book that you should read.
Okay.
I have it in paperback, though, not on Kindle.
That's alright.
Anyway.
That's all I got.
But now I can't remember what it is. I'm reading Chasing Space by Leland Melvin. It is an autobiography. Gasp. I'm reading nonfiction. It rarely happens. I'm reading the non-readers non-readers. I'm reading the non-readers edition, also known as the young readers edition. Oh my gosh. I like the overall story. I like the overall theme. So, if you're not familiar with Leland Melvin, he does, what's those bots that, destroy each other? Like that show where they build robots and then they kill each other. The robots kill each other. Like, it's like there was like a Big Bang Theory episode about it where they build the robots.
Oh yeah, it was like Robot Wars or something, but it was forever ago. Okay.
He was one of the judges on that, but what he's best known for was he played in the NFL for like a nanosecond and got injured and ended up becoming an astronaut. And during his training to be an astronaut, like walk in outer space, so not every astronaut's trained to walk in outer space. They have very specific jobs. I didn't know that. I should have. Like, that makes common sense, but I just assumed they all could pilot, like, everything. And, I figured they were, like, jack of all trades. That's not the case. So in order to be trained to spacewalk, Leslie knows this because she's seen some movie I haven't. You go into this pool and it's like 40 feet deep.
Armageddon. It was like huge in the early 2000s. It's got Liv Tyler, Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck.
I've seen parts of it, I feel like. But not this part. So I know, like, doesn't he... No, I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway.
It's like a 15-year-old movie.
Doesn't he die in the end? Doesn't he, like, sacrifice
Bruce
himself?
Willis does,
yes,
yeah.
Okay. Spoiler, if you haven't seen Armageddon yet, it might be too late. So he had to go on this training exercise down into like this 40-foot pool, and he noticed that like his helmet was missing this piece that they use for decompression.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I don't want to slow anyone down. I'm sure I'll be fine. It's only 40 feet. So he was not fine. Like, it did something with his eardrums. I can't remember if it like ruptured it. I haven't really gotten to that point. Like, it starts with the accident and then it like goes back in time.
Mm-hmm.
So he, most people would be like, I'm going to give up. I'm never going to be an astronaut. But his big thing is making the most of every opportunity and every second opportunity that's given to you. So something happens. I know the end of the story because I read the cover, and he actually goes to space twice. Also, it has the most amazing cover ever because his official NASA portrait is him with his dogs, which is amazing.
He's officially my favorite astronaut ever.
I think so too. And he's good friends with Neil. I don't know,
Neil
good friends, but he's friends with Neil deGrasse, and he's friends with Bill Nye, and he's friends with Katherine Johnson from Hidden Figures.
Oh, cool.
The actual person that the movie Hidden Figures is based off of. When he started working at NASA, she was retired by that point, but she would come in. And his background is, I think he's got a master's in engineering. So, like, he was trying out for the Dallas Cowboys and getting his master's on the computer at the same time.
That's
How crazy
impressive.
is that?
Yeah.
I thought, so he's a very impressive dude, and I get to meet him in November because he's going to be a guest speaker at the National Council of English Teachers.
This is the thing in St. Louis?
Yes, that I'm going to with my coworkers. So I get back from Disney, and 3 days later, I leave for St. Louis. And I'm trying to convince my parents that they should stay with my dog while I'm in St. Louis, too. If not Leslie, I'll stay with her. And thank you all for all your interesting comments about the rabies shots. Did you read those?
I did, and it makes sense that a younger dog would need a slightly less potent dose.
And then they go to the 3-year, but not everyone accepts for boarding and stuff 3 years.
Yeah.
So now I don't even know. I don't even have her rabies certificate because when I got her shot, my vet's office, all their computer systems were down.
Yeah.
They had to like handwrite a receipt for me.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and get that printed.
Yeah.
And I meant to do it today. And I had an after school meeting that ran till 4. So anyway, we the state of Mississippi, if you scored a certain like grade, then they did an incentive. This is for back in 2015. So back in 2015, my school became a B school, and we showed a lot of growth. And so as a result, they are giving us $75 per kid to be divvied up amongst the teachers in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, how did we get from rabies shots to this?
Oh, that's why I was at an after-school meeting
today.
So I'm on the committee to help decide that. And my coworker who just died on Friday, that was a friend, like, they're not certain that she'll get her portion because she's deceased now.
Mm-hmm.
So we as a group decided that we would, if she doesn't, we would then take up the money for her family.
Yeah.
Which is why I love working at my school.
Yeah.
Because they're good people. We're family. Anyway, so that's the meeting that I was at. So I need to pick up her rabies certificate. To make a long story short. Or not short at all, because it was just a very long story.
I feel like this whole episode has just been one random
Tangents.
segue.
Yeah. This is what happens when I'm on cold medication.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
What else?
Craftsy. So Craftsy yesterday had an all-day watch event. And some people took it very seriously. Like, there were people who charted out, like, okay, so you could watch the majority of the classes on Craftsy for free. Like, you could just go in through a link and watch whatever you wanted to for free. So, like, Amy Beth was sewing her own underpants. Was one of the ones that she was...
That's on my list of things I want to learn.
Okay, so you could have watched the video for free yesterday, but you were on call.
I was busy, yep.
that didn't work for you, and I was not going to watch that for you, because I would not have been a good relayer of information, for being honest. So some people took it, like, really hardcore, and these are, like, the people who are smart, I would say, and can learn quickly. I feel like that has to be added to this. So, they charted out, like, what exactly they wanted to learn, and what lessons. So when you get on Craftsy, you can see, like, what lessons are within a larger class. Yeah. And so they would chart out exactly what they wanted to learn, and then watched it on double speed. So they could watch it really, really quickly, but get the information. I'm the type of person, my learning style, teacher lingo, the way I learn is I have to, like, absorb and think about stuff and then make connections to other stuff. Otherwise, I'm not going to remember it. So I watched one full class, but it was awesome. And it was Ann Budd's, like, becoming a master knitter, which you wouldn't, like, I kind of feel like I know a lot about knitting, or a good amount, but there were some really useful things that I had never seen before. Like, there was a cast-on that you could use instead of a provisional cast-on, which was super clever. That was super clever. The way she does, like, the ends of her Kitchener, like, there were just little hints throughout the whole class. So it was definitely, I should have paid money for it. And what I'm gonna do instead, because the Craftsy, one of the ways that they pay their teachers is they're paid based on sales of their classes,
like royalties.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, because I really enjoyed that class and I watched the whole thing, I am going to go buy some patterns from Ann Budd so I can support her in some way, because I feel like I'm cheating her out of, not cheating, but I appreciate,
a reward.
I appreciate the fact that it was free, and I want to be able to give back to her. So the other classes that I kind of skimmed through is, like, Ann Hansen. So I posted on Instagram that I was watching the Ann Budd one, and what is her name? She works for a book company. I'll think of it in a second. I was thinking about it earlier. She's the sweetest person. Anyway, she said, you know, I watched the Ann Hansen class and I never realized that I was weaving in my ends the wrong way. Yeah, so was I. So then I went on to the Ann Hansen finishing class, and I just watched the section on weaving in ends. And Ann Hansen sells yarn, so I'll go buy a skein of yarn from her. Yeah. Because I feel like that was totally worth that amount of knowledge. It's interesting. I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
And then I went to Amy Herzog, because she has a newer class that we hadn't purchased yet. We had her other two classes. And we have both her books. And we had her as an instructor at SSK.
And we would have her back happily.
Yeah. And I love Amy Herzog, and she's very dynamic as she teaches. But this was a class that I was like, I don't know that I'm going... It was like another, like, fitting your knits type class. I'm taking classes with Amy. I have all her books. Taking her other two Craftsy classes. I was like, I don't know that I'm going to get anything out of this class that I don't already know. Oh my gosh, was I wrong? So I watched... This was like at 10 o'clock at night, y'all. And I get up at 5:30 every morning. So I watched like an hour, and then I was like, this is amazing. So this morning I went and just bought the class.
Yeah.
And Crafty's having a sale right now where
most of them
all their
like
classes are under
$20.
$20.
Yeah.
And so I think I spent $15 on this class, which is well worth it. And I'll probably end up, excuse me, now my congestion's going to my chest, which is amazing. It's going to make teaching 6th graders super fun tomorrow. So I bought the class, and I own all her books, but I probably will buy like a sweater pattern from her, because she does some really cool...
You could do a custom fit.
Well, that's one of the things she does in this. I was talking earlier about like sweater, like lifestyle choices. She walks you through like the 3 things that you need to think about while you're picking a sweater. Like, does this fit your lifestyle is one of them, one of the 3. Now I can't remember the other 2, which is why I purchased the class, because it was late at night for me. Most normal people, 10:30 is not late at night. It's like when Leslie's just getting warmed up for the day. So I I really found it interesting, and the way she does gauge swatches, like how she determines with sweater fabric what it should feel like. Like she does like a poke test and like a stretch test. It's really, really interesting. So I feel like it was well worth the $14. And another thing she does is she walks through in different sweaters. So like she's showing off a lot because she's smart. Because hello, Amy Herzog. She's showing off all these different sweater patterns. Like when she does like a yarn choice section, which is not super involved, but it's like, hey, I've got this cowl neck. I want it to have a little bit of drape, and it's one of her cowl neck sweaters.
Yeah.
So you're getting exposed to a lot of her different sweaters. Amy Herzog does basically do, and it goes into like how to read patterns, like sweater patterns, and look at schematics and stuff like that. It was an interesting class. I ended up spending the $15. And I'll probably buy some sweater patterns from her too, because she's selling me on the Amy Herzog lifestyle.
Yeah.
Even though I freaking hate seaming, she's selling me on that lifestyle. So
I don't know. I feel like the hassle of seaming is worth it for the overall use of a garment like that.
Well, in Ann Bud's class, she was putting in the shoulder seams, and she's like, oop, it's off. I'm going to have to rip it out and start over. And I was like, if Ann Bud can't do this...
There's hope for me.
No, there is no hope for me. If Ann Bud can't do it the first time, there is no hope for me. Like, no.
But she kept going.
No, she wrote, well, I think that's the secret to success in life, is she went back, redid.
Yeah. She's not
but
afraid of failure.
She's not afraid of failure, which is a very awesome trait to have. It's not that I'm afraid of failure. I don't have patience to do stuff sometimes, which is why I don't seam a lot of sweaters. One thing that was interesting, so at SSK, Jillian and I were talking about cleaning out drum carders and carding cloth in general, whether it's a drum carder or a board or hand cards.
Right.
And one of the tips that we were talking about was getting those roller pins. So pins that used to be used to hold like rollers in place on your head.
Mm-hmm.
And getting those pins and using them to clean out carding cloth. Ann Bud uses those pins to hold things in place as she seams. Because they've got like blunt ends, but they're like long. They're like 4 inches.
Yeah.
So they hold stuff really well. So now I bought them to clean out stuff, but they have a double purpose.
A triple purpose, because they're also roller pins.
A triple purpose. So really, when I spent that $5 on Amazon for 100 of them, I was doing incredible things that I just didn't realize at the time.
Yeah.
That was a crazy pants purchase. And they were like a freaking add-on item, too. Not even prime shipping, like, add-on item. Anyway. I have a lot of roller pins in my house if anyone needs some. But it was an interesting... All the classes were interesting, but I feel like I should reward the teachers for having awesome classes that I watched for free. So, I'm gonna do it. And Ann Bud has tons of skirts that she had at SSK, and she sells those patterns. So... Yeah,
they looked really cute.
There's one out of Volmisa that's like pleated that is adorable, and she did it in a worsted weight too. But I think I would do the fingering, just because it doesn't get real cold here. If I lived up north, I might do the worsted.
I still kind of want to do one of those lane splitter skirts, like out of Noro, where it's made on the bias. I think that would be fun.
Whatchamacallit? It's not Laura. Is it Lorelei? Oh, what is her name?
Don't know who you're talking about.
I met her at DFW. Is it Lorelei? Anyway, she does interesting skirt patterns too.
Oh, Beltman?
Yes.
Laura Lee Beltman?
Laura Lee Beltman. Mm-hmm. She's got some interesting ones.
So also, I'm going to a class in, not this weekend, but next weekend, in Eureka Springs, and it is a John Malarkey.
Is Michael going with you?
Mm-mm. Just me.
Just you by yourself?
You say that sadly, and I'm thinking, yes, just
I would go if I didn't have Pearl.
It's fine. I
could have your
don't mind.
Yeah, I'm sensing that you don't want me to go.
It's not that I don't want you to go, but I'm perfectly fine going alone.
Eureka Springs has like a big like ghost tour.
Yeah.
So eventually I want to go to Eureka Springs. They're doing, like, someone's doing a retreat there.
Oh, that's cool.
So I saw it on Instagram. Who's doing a retreat there?
I don't know, but it's a really cool little artsy town.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah,
You're
so it's John Malarkey.
John Malarkey.
It's on the 16th at Red Scotty Fibers, which is by Fleece and Flax, which is the only knitting shop in that town. And it's cute. I've been there before. Years and years back, but I've been there before.
That's fun.
And so I'm taking it's a double weaving something class. I don't know. I just wanted to take a class with John Malarkey. So, and that was the closest option.
We're going to be at Plyaway, y'all.
Hopefully.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
If Leslie's not on call.
We have to get, well, that I can work out because it's so far ahead of time, but don't we have to actually get into the event?
Well, no, like, we just have to sign up for classes.
Oh, well, you'll have to tell me when that happens.
I'll have to figure out when that happens, but I think it's coming up soon.
Okay.
So Plyaway was made this year so that we are celebrating my birthday on Plyaway.
Next year.
This coming year.
Yeah.
I don't count birthdays past. They're already gone. So this coming year, this coming birthday month, the 2018 birthday month, also known as year 37.
We'll have to contact JC, make sure she puts that in the email that, by the way, this is the weekend of the Linneman birthday.
Oh, she probably would.
She would, too.
I love JC. So it's my birthday's on Good Friday this year, and Plyaway is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm off Friday because it's Good Friday. Or it's not Sunday. So it's the, like, weekend of Easter Sunday, but not Easter. So I'm off Friday, so I am going to have Kobe dog sit my dog, and I'm going to fly up to Kansas City. Leslie's going to drive our wheels up because she likes driving.
Apparently I'm driving our wheels up.
You told me that's what you wanted to do.
I don't remember that.
You totally told me. I was like, we could fly up and just borrow Jess's wheels. Or, you know, just bring the Hansons, and you're like, oh, I like that drive. I'd rather drive it. Well, that's what you told me.
I'm sure I did. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did.
Because you told me that you would rather drive 8 hours than be stuck in an airplane for 8 hours.
Amen.
And I said, I would rather be stuck in an airplane for 8 hours.
Perfectly fine with me.
I'm going to look and see, but we'll fly back together. Oh, you were going to drive. I know what it was. You were going to leave Thursday morning so you could get there earlier. And then I was going to fly up Thursday night because I can't take off the day before a weekend.
Whatever you say, honey. You just tell me what...
We totally had this conversation. Now you're making me feel like I'm crazy. And I am crazy, but not about this.
But I do think we got to wrap it up because we're at like an hour and a half.
Chatty McCheddersons.
So we'll talk more about Ply once the sign-ups and everything go live.
Yeah, and we'll tell you what classes we take and stuff like that. Are taking and stuff like that.
Yeah, but... So
you're doing not woven shoelaces. You're doing like because John Malarkey's known for his woven shoelaces.
Yeah, and there's like nothing on the internet about how to make them, but they're in one of his old books. Or it was a collaboration book, but you can't buy it on Amazon anymore. It's like It's like $400.
Oh crap!
Even for a used copy. So if anybody's got that old John Malarkey book
and you don't want it,
I will happily pay the new price for it. But not the $400 price. I will pay whatever you paid for it.
There you go.
Assuming it was a
reasonable amount.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all we got. We hope that you have a lovely week, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.